Hello, welcome. My name is Manuel from Kata Studios. Today we are going to be doing a proper website review or revision from website designers. So we have 5 websites here. This 99 was done by Malik. This Christ Wind was done by Firstborn, and the Save was done by Fevzi Design. Hi-Fi was done by AK Company, and the Ace Word was done by Israel. So this particular website, we are going to be providing the link in the description below. So in case they make these modifications in the future, you can also check out this website and see how better they look from today's review. We are ready, right? So let's get into the review. So we'll be starting off with 96 designs by Malik. So Malik did a very wonderful work by using color that I've never used before as a base color for my design. So a base color is just like the brand color, but we notice a simple problem from here. You see, your contents are middle aligned, but not center aligned. Okay, they are not center aligned. They are center aligned, not middle aligned. So this should be in the middle of the screen, the middle. So this should come down a little more. So let's take this as an instance. This is well middle aligned, is center aligned. From left to right, it's in the center, and from top to bottom is in the middle. Okay, so that's what your own, the mark your own is missing. So we are seeing a lot of padding at the bottom, but the padding didn't reflect at the top. So hero section, usually you must make sure your contents are well centered and well aligned to the middle. Okay, for hero section, any content you're putting in the center, make sure it is middle aligned also, except you're pushing to the left and right, like content like this, it is middle aligned, but it is left aligned. Okay, so get that in mind. Make sure your contents are in the middle. If you added an extra padding here, you make sure you remove that. That's number 1. Number 2, you did well with your hero section. Hello, welcome to 96 designs. That's good. Your hero section heading text makes a lot of sense. Your body text, I am not a good fan of large body text for the hero section, so you need to work a little with that. Your copywriting should reduce that a little more. And one other thing I want you to do is to go into this website, inspect the size of the body text we used here, and or inspect the size of body text I use in any of the websites I've built. Let me open up that so that we can also see some of the websites that we have done. So you want to see the websites we have done, go to katastudios.com/websites. See it over there. Okay, so hit on that and you'll be led to the website page or my archive page or my portfolio page. So you can choose any of the websites you like from here, so you can generate inspirations from that. So whenever you get to a website you like and you want to inspect content from it, possibly the font type I used or the font size or the spacing and all of that, you can install this Chrome extension called Font Ninja. Once you click on Font Ninja, once you install it, it will appear here. If it doesn't, click on this option at the top right and make sure you pin it. Once you pin it, it appears here. So once you select the Font Ninja, you can hover on that font to see the font spacing, the font size, and everything you need to see. The font type, this poppins, and you can see that this is Montserrat with the font size of 20 pixels and the body font spacing of 24 pixels, and it doesn't have any body text spacing, just 0 pixels. So you can find all of those information from here. If you click on any one, it will automatically populate the further information from this particular angle. Okay, so when you type on anything, you are going to see the font type and how it functions. The same applies to this. When you type on anything, you're going to still see the same font option appear there. So that's how to inspect. Make sure you do that whenever you are making your work. Okay, also follow the guideline I use whenever I'm creating a work. See, my body text are not too much. When you create too much body text, it becomes difficult for people to read, except it's a different or exceptional content. As you can see, this is a Bible quote and it can be as long as it seems. But if it's a body text that is accompanying the heading text, it has to be reduced to the minimal. So this is a no-no. At most, you can use about, let's count what's here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. You can use at most 15 body text for your body text or subtext in your hero section or even any other section in your page. As long as it's the body text, make sure it's minified, except you are trying to explain a product or a service or trying to explain character for the website. So that's done for this. And your button, I don't really feel comfortable about the color, and the switch is very harsh. It should be subtle in the sense that gradually switches, that makes it make more sense. Just watch, very simple. See how subtle the button switches. You see how subtle it switches. Don't make it too harsh. When you make it too harsh, it's not professional. Okay, so make it subtle. And two, your primary button, this is a primary button, which is the one that have a fill, which is the main one you want people to click on. That's the primary button. You usually have a fill. The secondary button is the one that doesn't have a fill, that have a stroke. But whenever you hover on the secondary button, automatically should have a background color, so people can actually notify themselves that that is actually hovered on, or is a clickable button. Not everybody have the good eyesight to see this tiny stroke around here, so make sure you make that applicable. Okay. And also, you can also change your switch, have a secondary color. Now you have a primary color, which is yellow. You have a secondary color that's subtle, not just white that blows off. Now, you see your background. I am good fan of videos, but I'm not good fan of video on, hero section. Okay? I'm not good fan of videos in hero section. It doesn't make much sense to me, because, you see, why it doesn't make much sense to me is because loading time differs based on the network speed. So the network speed might be very slow, and you might have an empty space, nothing is going on. So usually put it in the second section or third section. So before the person is done with the previous section, the subsequent section videos must have loaded by then. I hope you get it. So usually use images. Instead, use a slide image or stuff like that, and optimize your image to be within 200 kilobytes or thereabout. So I hope that solves that problem. But if you must use image, make sure you use what we call fallback. If you must use video, make sure you use what we call fallback images. Fallback images are time you use images to replace the video in case the network is slow. So the image will replace the video until the video starts playing. You get the point? So that's what I want you to do for the hero section. Another thing don't like you doing in the hero section is, and while I'm also treating people's problem, also watch other people's, so you understand the problem that I didn't fix in your own. Not everything I'm going to talk about here. The hero section here, the color overlay is too dark. As you can see, the color overlay here is a little bit lighter. When you increased your body text, you don't need to darken this too much. If your head, this is 200 pixel, and this is enough as it is, you don't need to darken this background. Okay, don't need to darken it too much. Like you see, this one is darkened, but not too dark like what we have from your own. Okay, so what you need to do from there is very simple. Make sure you reduce the opacity. Let this be a little more visible. It's still okay like this, but a little more visible will be okay. So your header is okay. I don't need to talk much about that. We can fix that in another day. I like the sticky effect from there. Very nice. Now your body text, your background color here, I really don't like it. I don't like that color. The gray is too light. I don't really like it. So you need to work on that. And your image here, I don't like it. The image just having a tiny man at the center and then having too much of yellow space here is affecting my eyes. So you need to work on that. Make sure the man or somebody here that is a full image or something very responsive, making more sense. Okay, I think your padding top and padding bottom is equal, and you did well there. And you see, body text you use here, I think is fair, even better than the body text you use here. The body text you are using here is now bigger than the body text you use here, which doesn't make sense. Let's inspect that immediately. Let's inspect that. So we see the body text we used over here. We are using a body text of what size? We're using 16 poppins, and here we are using 17 poppins. You notice that? So here you should use, for the heading text here, you should use about I think 18 pixels or 19 pixels from here. Then from here, if you're using poppins from here, you can use 16 or 17 pixels. So scrolling down to the next section, you did very well here. But what I don't like is that I would like all of the height of all of this container to be equal, no matter what content is in there. So if you build this with a grid layout, there's an option that says equal height. Enable that option, and it will stretch all of the elements container to touch to the bottom. Where you use cases like this is because you already added a background color, and that separates the elements and making it look as though this element is having, though why this happens is because there is too much of content in this element than the others. As you can see, it's have an extra line of content. So you can either work on your content and make it equal to the rest of them, or make sure your element is built with a grid layout and then make it equal height. I like your body text here, very simple. and your heading text here is still okay, and I like your background. So I think this is what you need to do from here. But the background here might be white color, it's still not bad. But if you want to maintain black all through, maintain black all through. Just have a separation line that will make things look okay. Or use a darker color that is not too dark, or a gray color that is not too light, okay, for this one at the top. I like that gray style. That the difference between this and this other section makes a lot of sense. Testimonial section, the padding bottom and padding top, I think is okay, but add a little bit of padding, okay? And I like the way you use the icons here, but the icon color shouldn't be pure black. The icon color in this case should be lighter, darker green. Why the background is darker, lighter green? Let me show you an instance. I think the website I did for Triple B will show you exactly what I mean there. So if you use two dark colors, it won't make much sense because it will be distractive to people. So in case you can't find any image to use for a client, make sure you use icons that matches the brand, but don't use black over there. You can use green for the background, yellow for the background, and darker yellow for the person. Okay, let me show you in Triple B. I think I'm having a very low network. Let's still see. Let's just give it a little time. Okay, so in most cases, I would prefer you use a person here. Okay, I'll prefer, let me see what I used for the testimonial section over here. Let's see what I used. Okay, I didn't even use anybody here. I think this testimonial section also, we used somebody here. We didn't even have a testimonial section here. So let's scroll down so I will show you what the testimonial section look like. See, we have a pink and then we have a darker pink beneath inside of it. So choose yellow and choose the darker yellow. Don't choose any other color. When you're using person icon, make sure you do that. So I like the body text here, very simple, and the lighter color, making it different from the body text. You did a very wonderful work here. The lighter color here shows that there is hierarchy with the name. People will have to know who actually writing this before they can then read the text. Or even if they read the text before reading this, they must not avert this because it's bolder and it also have a darker color. Perfect. So coming down to this part, I think the projects they did, I think it should be interactive. Somebody can be able to click this image and it opens. But that is not happening. Okay, it's leading us to a link that doesn't have. So select on the image and add it to what we call media link. Okay, select on the image, go to the link area, make it a media link. Media link means when you click on it, it opens, it pops up the image, so people can now slide and check up the image. Or possibly you can use a gallery to showcase these projects. Okay, instead of adding this title here, the title can be within the image gallery. You can add this title in the image gallery and it will make more sense. I've talked about that in the past lessons. Okay, click this to view portfolio. I think this is a very nice button, but give it a little space from these other ones and get in touch. You did a very wonderful work from this part. Very simple and slicky. And I like the fact that you aligned your content, the same content, 90%, 90% width. Your 90% width here is perfect. It makes more sense. Like you respected all those rules. I know that there are some pages sizes that are 80%, like this is 80%, and this is also 80%, this is also 80%. Why this look as if it's smaller than this one? Because there is an extra layer of space around here. Usually that is caused whenever you're creating a testimonial section. Why you can't see that from here is because we are already having a background. So if you put a background in this testimonial section, you're going to see that it's going to cover and look like this one above. And you maintain the same size and we get to the top. You did a very wonderful work. So I'll give this a 70 out of 100. So make these adjustments and you are good to go. Go to the next one, who is firstborn creation. So firstborn, you have understand what we talked about in the previous lesson. Talked about the heading text being bold. Your heading text is too small. So your heading text shouldn't have more than 4 or 5 words. If it's more than 4 or 5 words, work on your copywriting and adjust things. But you can still maintain the amount of words you have here if in case the client insists they should be, then increase the size of those letters. Okay, as we have from here from shop station, you see I increase the size and make it bolder. When you make it bolder, it's easy for people to read through. Okay, and your body text here didn't break. I wonder why you didn't break that. You should break it. Make sure that this starts from the beneath. The word starts from beneath. Look at shop station, how it looks. See how we break this second line. So don't make it too long. No, your heading text, your body text should be within the range of your heading text. Your heading text should be the one that is wider, and your body text should be within the range under the heading text, except in some cases, which I don't think is very important. Okay, so now after that, you see your button have a problem. The problem your button have is that you have a stroke around on hover, but but you don't have a stroke when the element is not on hover. And this one, you have a stroke of 2 pixels in this donate, but on hover, you have a stroke of 1 pixel. That's why the element is moving your other button around. See what is happening? The glitch that is going on there. So make sure the same pixel size you put for this stroke, you can add a stroke to the main button and make it the same color. Nobody will even know there is a stroke. Okay, like let me show you something from here. You see the stroke we have from here? You see, nobody will know it's a stroke. When you hover, you see the main color. The same thing applies to this one too. Okay, see this one, I added a stroke of 2 pixels. I make sure also on the hover, the pixel is also 2, but the hover stroke color is not different from the color of the hover background. You get the point? The same thing applies to this one. This one doesn't even have any stroke at all. Okay, so that's what you do. For stroking, make sure you are careful. Whatever stroke size you give to the main button, give it to the after effect or give it to the hover effect. And break this line, make your body text a little bigger. So you did very well in the heading. The size here is too small, so make this around 17 pixels or 18 pixels. This is too small. Okay, and push it close to the donate. If you want it to be in the center, make it to be in the center. If you don't want it to be in center, make sure it gets close to the donate. It can only be left and right, or left, center, and right. Don't do left, like I don't even know where this one belongs, whether it's center or right. So make sure it's to the right or in the center. This size doesn't make sense. And your image in the background is having very poor quality. I don't like the quality I can see there. Also reduce the opacity, like I talked about in this one. The opacity is too dark. Reduce the opacity. I like the effect, fading effect. This image is having a good quality, but the other ones I see there, this is having a very good quality, but the other ones I see there doesn't have good quality. And this is not a button. As I can see, it's not a button because I'm not seeing this is not a good quality. I hope you can see that. This doesn't have a button. So apply your files, set your files also to actually match with what you want them to be. Okay? Right? Okay, very good. So make sure that when you hover on it, it takes us down somewhere. Okay? So scrolling down to your effect, you see that we have a left padding size that is not the same with the right padding size. So make sure your element here is centered. It's not centered. The padding we have to the right is wider than the padding we have to the left. Make sure you fix that. Make sure you fix that. Okay? Make sure you fix that. Scrolling down, we have this effect. We still have the same problem, but we have even a larger problem here. The larger problem we have is on hover, the border radius of the button itself is smaller than the border radius of the stroke. So make sure that the border radius of the stroke is equal to the border radius of the button. You see, we're having some tiny space around there, which doesn't make sense. It's ugly. Okay? So make sure you fix that. And also the border radius you use there, if you use a border radius of, let me say, 70 pixels border radius on an image inside, the one you are going to use on the outside shouldn't be equal to the same height. If you use, it's going to give you this particular option. You see, it's not correct. Adjust your border radius until it matches the roundness of that effect. This is not rounded as smooth as it should be. So make that adjustment. You understand what I mean? So this part also, I think this should be very good. You did a very nice work, but I think you should have this button spaced out a little. This also spaced out a little so people can know there's a button there. I never need to notice there's a button until it's actually moved. Okay? Our aim and objective, I think is cool, but it doesn't, there's no hierarchy here. So it should be a little bit bolder than this body text here. So increase the size a little and make sure that the sizes matches with all of the heading text you're going to be using after the hero section. So that's good. This part is also cool, but the color here is too poor. Use a black color here. This is where you should use a light color. I think what you used to do this one here is an SVG using achieving this, but this should have a rounded edge here and also have a rounded edge here. I'll be teaching you guys a detailed guide on how to use SVGs like this and create more advanced layouts. But the same size should apply to this. The size should apply to this other one. The size should apply to this other one. The height is not equal to this, so make sure it's equal, even though it's going to be popping out from the bottom part. So this part, I think we have to work on this. I don't like how tiny this is, and the icon is too bold. Reduce the icon a little, and then increase the size of that marquee. That's called a marquee. See the size of marquee I use here is too large. Don't mind me. I use very large one there. Let's see another one. This one is still okay. Okay. So use a marquee that makes a little more sense. Don't use a marquee. Check out my work and see the kind of things that I do. Okay. Follow suit until you start getting very used to what you are doing. I like this particular area, but I would like when you have a body, you are having a very poor padding top and padding bottom. Very poor one. So make sure your padding top and padding bottom makes more sense. Okay, 150 pixel, 120 pixel are okay. Scrolling down, the same apply to this. So what I was talking about, these images, when you are scrolling up, these images can be, having some kind of effect as though they are moving up, kind of that effect. You have seen it in some of the websites we have made. If you want to see that, you can go to, I think we did that in Noya website. You can find that in Noya website. You can also find that in your wellness clinic in her contact us page, or about us page, not contact us page, in your wellness clinic. Okay, so scrolling down, this donate button is okay, but I think your button should resonate. Okay, your button should have uniqueness. Your button should be consistent. Your button are not consistent. I see blue here, and when I scroll down, I start seeing a different color all over again. No, it doesn't make any sense. So use one button for your primary button. This is a primary button, except you want to make it a secondary button. It will now be a stroke. When you hover, you can now see this ash tan color, okay, or ox blood red. Okay, so that's what you do. The same applies to this also. Stop using strokes of whites. Just leave it. Just leave that thing. Don't use strokes of whites. Okay, on colors. Use stroke on white colors, or bright colors like this. Use strokes of white, no problem. But on dark colors, don't use strokes of white. You have never seen me do that before, so don't do it. Okay, your body text here should increase a little more. You know what I talked about that. And this image should be about, increase the padding. It should be around that, let's say 80 VH of the height of this particular screen. Not so tiny like that. So tiny like that is ugly. Let me see if I can see another instance of what I'm talking about here. Okay, see this one now. See the image, even though it's too small, but at least you have a little more chance. But I don't still like this one I did. Let's still go to another one that we did from here. I still don't like this one. See, very good. So see this instance now. You see, a little bit larger, even if it's 50% of the height of the screen. Just don't make it as tiny as this. It's not cool. Okay. Then we have the frequently asked question. I don't like the border. Okay, frequently asked question should be as simple as possible. Okay, your button should be reduced in size, and the first element should be open, so people will know that others are open too. And remove all these white, blue colors beneath here. It's not necessary. Remove it. Make everything white, and the border size should be 1 pixels, not 2 pixels. These 2 pixels is too thick. Your icons are still okay, but reduce the size of the icons. They're going down. I think we are okay from here. Just that I see the elements from the bottom part here. You need to give it a little more space. Now we go up here a little. There is something I noticed. You see this part? You see, it's having an overflow. You see, we are having an overflow here. So fix that. I think you're having a problem there. Other ones part doesn't have overflow. These parts don't have overflow. Okay, this part also have overflow. I think your overflow could be coming from your header or your hero section, anywhere. Just find out where that overflow is coming. You notice what is going on? I'm having an overflow here. So find a way to fix that. If you go to all sections, make sure you are not using more than 100 pixel. If you use 100 pixel width or 100% width, you are having a big problem. That's where this is coming. So check your header, check all the sections in the website, and make sure you remove and make sure they are within 100% or below 100% or 100 VW, which is V width, or below 100 VW. Okay, so that's all for I think that's for firstborn. We go to the next for favor designs. I think you don't have any overflow here. Everything is working okay, and I like the image you use in the background, and I like the overlay of the header. You did a very wonderful work, and your colors are consistent, but you're having the same issue that firstborn was having on the effect. The effect is too poor. Should have an effect that when you hover on it, it's lighting slowly. So make sure you complete that effect, 1. And 2, your border is you are not having a border on the main color now. So put a border of 2 pixels and also make it the same color as the background now, so that whenever you hover, it will not be noticeable. Do the same thing to this one and you won't have any problem. This one doesn't have any problem because you have a border of white already, and when you hover, the border of white, but the border when you hover should change to yellow color. Okay, so make those changes. Your body text here is too much. Okay, just 2 lines and increase the size to about 20 pixels and we are good to go. This is also okay, but increase the size a little more, just a little more. Just a little more. And I hate the font you use here. This font is very ugly. I'll prescribe a font for you, or 2 fonts for you. One of which you can use Sora, S-O-R-A, or the other you can use Playfair. fair play or play fair, either of that. Or the other, you can use which other one can you use? Poppins. You can use Poppins for the best practice. You can use Poppins also for the best practice. Okay, you can use Poppins also for the best practice. So we are good to go for that end. Scrolling down here, your body text, your heading text here is too large, my brother. So break it into two. If it must be, break it into two. And your heading text is too large here. Your body text is also too large. So I wonder if this is the information they provided. But if it is, no problem. You can still leave it. The ripple effect should have a text spacing. There must be a text spacing if you are putting a heading text. Let me show you what text spacing is. So see how we text space this element. They are spaced very, very far from each other, not as your own is. So text spacing it to make sure people understand that that is a styling you're adding there. And these other ones, raise a font. There is no effect that shows me that donate. I can click it. It's bad. This one have a slight effect, but it's not very noticeable. It's still okay. But this one in the center, make sure it changes color, maybe lighter green also, so that I'll notice that it's clickable. The icons you use here, I think is fair enough. Fair enough, not that it's best. It's fair enough for me. So scrolling down, the slides you have here should have a space in between them. Okay, a space in between them will make more sense. I don't think we did any of such around here. I think we did that in Noya Wellness. So let me show you what that is. So whenever you are creating a mark queue, make sure you have a space in between the elements. It will make more sense that way. Let me see if we can find services section. I think we added the service section. Our team, frequently asked question, booking, okay, working dash frequently question, clients, consultation, our team, services page. No, not in services page. I did that in link. Okay, let's find it ourselves. Link/3. Okay, so every website should have a link tree where people they can use for their they can use it for their Instagram or whatever. So you see the stuff I'm talking about, the mark queue, they should have space in between them so that it's easy for people to actually navigate. So you can add more links to members here and share it. This is what you create in their website and give it to them. They can now share to use for their, you can even put their WhatsApp details here, everything, so that it's easy for them to click instead of using those random link trees since they have a website created for them. So this is what I'm talking about. So make sure you have those spaces around this. And your image quality, I think this image is having a very, very high resolution. I wonder, let's see if we can save that. And let's inspect. 397 kilobytes. You are really messing up here. And see, I didn't even, this is just for one image that you used. 300 and something. No, it doesn't make any sense. Okay? So reduce, you have to create all of these things in one content. You have to create all of them in one content. Like this one now. Let me save it so you see. I can't save this. I would have saved it so you see now. It's not, all of this image is not up to 300 kilobytes. But one of your own is to make your website load very slowly. Okay? So use a mark queue tool in the QI add-on. If this is Elementor you use, you must have QI add-on. Use a mark queue tool to do this effect. Scrolling down, the body text here is rubbish. The heading text here is rubbish. I never teach you to use one line for heading text that is as long as this. This should break. You should already know that this should break from this can. Okay? I wonder why you don't even style your work. It's rubbish. This is rubbish. So make sure you fix this. I've talked about this over and over to you again. So you see heading text is broken. Why are you not breaking this one? Why are you letting this have very long? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No. It doesn't make sense. Your clients won't like this. The same to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As long as it's up to 3 words, make sure the next one break. Highest 4. 3 is okay. Make sure the next one breaks to the other line. 2, you see your button here. Your button, when you hover on it, it should have a subtle effect. And also your button color should change to white. You don't use black on a dark background like this. Make those changes. This part is okay. I like the effect from there. And this particular content, I think is okay. But I would have loved it to be that this content is at the top and this one is at the bottom. This one is also at the bottom. So there will be a space in the middle. Empty space will be okay. I think that will be fine. So make those changes and make sure your padding bottom and padding top is up to 140 or 130 pixels, top and bottom, on all of your sections. Don't submit another work without making these changes. Make sure you check up your body text padding top and padding bottom, very important. The same applies to this. Frequently asked questions is 3, still okay. And frequently asked questions are cool. I like it. We are good to go from there. Donate here is also cool. Just that you're having the same problem of border this thing, stroke. You're using a stroke on the hover without using a stroke outside the hover. So make those changes. I love this logo to start with. So every other thing is okay. Call to donate and email. See, call to donate should take you to call. Very good. You did a nice work there. So we are good to go. That's what you need, changes you need to make from your website. Okay. Make sure you change the font here, increase the size a little more, and we are good to start up. That's it for that. Now, next to a company for your Figma, you did this on Figma, and we need to review. So one of which is that the space between this is too much. So the text spacing, top spacing and bottom spacing is too much. So reduce that a little more. I love the font. I so love the font you use. They are very interesting. And as you can see, the testimony, everything here is okay as it is. But the body text here is very ugly. The body text here, I know it's a sample work, but it have a poor quality. As you can see, we can find the pixels around those things are too much. So make sure you deal with that. The body text, the background image here it doesn't make sense. It's too poor. The quality is too poor. And I also noticed that here also the quality of this image you use here is too poor. I don't know, even if you are using a content as a sample project, make sure your content are clean so that when a client see it, they will like it. Another thing is there is no spacing between this element and this element. There should be a spacing, a gap in between this. A spacing that makes a little more sense. Let's see if we can find a gap anywhere around here. You see the gap we use here? You see the gap we use here? It's even, this content is even close to each other, but still we use the gap. See the gap we use here? See the gap that is here? And also see the gaps that we have from here. Let me even scroll down to content that have more gaps. See these gaps? See these gaps? Okay, see that this is the same content you are using, same content type I was looking for. See the gap we use here? Okay, so make sure there's much gap in your content. Around 70 pixels is okay. 70 pixels, 60 pixels, 50 pixels is okay. But this is not making any sense. And you must not use the same body text you use for your text you use for your heading text for your body text. Okay, make sure you change so that it will have a little more subtle effect. And also the color doesn't make sense to me. Reduce the color a little to a little bit gray. View projects, I like the button, very simple. Scrolling down the projects we have, everything is okay from here except for the fact that we need to make this more darker in background. This particular container should be a little bit darker so that I can also show from other areas. Okay, a little bit darker will make sense. And then put a stroke, a tiny stroke of light white or grays around it so that it can be noticeable that there is something around there. So people won't complicate it or misunderstand that it's the content in the mockups. I like the layout here. The flex box you use here is okay. The grid flex here you use here is very okay. See more, very interesting. Your button is very beautiful. Even though it's very simple, it's very beautiful. I like the font there. I like the spacing around the button and all of that. Scrolling down here, we have testimonial is very long and testimonial is very short and all of that. What I suggest you do is that testimonial that is very long should be beneath. Testimonial that are short should be at the top. So this one should be at the top so that people can scroll it easily. Then they can see the one that is very long. I hope you get it. Okay, very good. See more is okay. Our process is okay. I think an image will be here or something like that. It's okay. I think this text, I don't like it. Use poppins. It doesn't make sense for the body text. Use poppins and then the thickness would be a little bit emphasized. Scrolling down, we have all of these. I think these are images that are going to be here. I think they are okay. Okay. We are good to go. Okay. This logo should be at the left side. Okay. The left, no matter how things are, the left side. There's no proper alignment here. You can't have a content here, then a content here, then an image that doesn't align perfectly with the content here and content here. Okay, so make those changes and we are good to go. I think this is another page. I didn't check out this. I just noticed that you have a next button. This should be a portfolio page, and I think that is cool also. Let's still check if there is another page. This is service page. This is cool also. I like this particular page, but there are too many content here. Why not just reduce them? Too many content, but it's still okay. Get in touch is too big. It's too big. Reduce the color. It's too big. Testimonial, very good. You did a testimonial page. That's very good. I will suggest the testimonial page you have the same sample style as the other one. Just copy that one, paste here, and modify. So people won't feel confused when they come to this page. I think this is also under portfolio page or single portfolio page that shows the detail. Okay, this is the single portfolio page, a single project page that shows the detail of each project when you click on one of the projects. And I think it's still okay. This is the contact us page, if I'm not mistaken, and we are good to go. So those are the mistakes or corrections you need to do. On the heading text, the spacing between these elements are too much, so reduce the spacing a little. Okay, your contact button can have the same color as the other one. Okay, you are trying to maintain the same color here, but if you use that purple here, it will make more sense. I like that purple. Okay, even though the color of the logo is blue, you can use logo color blue color in other parts of the website, and make sure your buttons are consistent in style. Then the final person we have for today is Ace, website from Israel. Okay, so I wonder why your header is not having the same size. Your header is not having the same size with your container. Your header must be the widest thing in your website. Nothing should be wider than it. As we're having this heading in hero section, wider than no, it doesn't make sense. Your header should be wider thing. So go back there and fix the problem. Find out the problem you're having with the header and fix it. I've talked about this in your previous review. I wonder why you are still making the same mistakes again. So go back, fix it, and then you report that back. Every other thing here, you have fixed it. The pricing is too small. The color of this one is too dull. Make sure the color is dark. This is the product title. Then make sure the product title and product price is close to each other. It is the product price and the button should be a little bit far from each other. It's not the product name and title should be far, then the button close to the name. No, the button is usually something that is supposed to be far from the content. See, everywhere we create the button is far from the content. Let's show you here. See, button far from the content, button far from the content. It shouldn't be too close to the content. See it, button far from the content. Don't make your button too close to the content, okay? Then increase the size of your text here. Just use the same text style. Here now use poppins. Don't change. Stop changing text. Use the same text. Since you are beginning, use the same text so that you can get used to one text before you can move to two texts. Don't use multiple texts in your website yet. Use one text format for now. Okay. Then scrolling down here, we have testimonial page. I think this should need a little more space, so make it the width of 70 or 80 pixels. 80 pixels width is okay from here. And the padding top and padding button should be within. Anything I'm correcting for other people, learn it too. Don't make the same mistake and submit it again. I will shout on you, okay? I will, you know me. So make these corrections, but padding top and padding bottom. The padding top user is okay. I like it. The padding top user and padding bottom user is okay. But why are you not using the same padding? There's no consistency in your padding. If you send like this again, I'm going to send it back to you without making a review for you. Okay? So make these adjustments, and I think this thing part here is okay, but it's not very okay to me. I don't like the color here at all. So remove this background color you use here. Just make this background color is okay. Then this color at the top here, the text here, I think it should be poppins. Poppins you are using here. FAQ can write it frequently asked questions at the top. Okay, then here now remove this background from here. Let the text here be simple. Okay, and add a little more content and make sure it's not capital letter. Your body text for your answers shouldn't be capital letter. All of them should be small letters. Okay, scrolling down here, I like this part, but curve this thing a little. Curve the edges. The image is too pointed. Curve it a little. About us size is too large. It's larger than this one. There is no consistency. This one is small. There's no consistency. This is the same equal size with this one. Maintain this sizes. Just copy this style and paste here and reuse it for about us. The same font here. This is a different font here, and this is a different font here. No, use the same font around. Make sure you use the same font. I will say it again now. Make sure you use just one font in your website. Your whole website should be poppins. I said it in the last time. You didn't hear me. Make sure you use the same font. I will refer you back to this video to watch again in case you make mistake. That's why I'm posting it on YouTube, so that I wouldn't have to say the things I've said again. I will refer you back here. If you send it again, I notice some of the mistakes I corrected down. So change this font, making sure it is the same font style you use here. The same style you use here should apply to this one and should also apply to this one. Okay, your body text is okay as it is. And make sure the width of this is up to 90% left and right. Your logo area should be 90% left and right. This is not 90%. As you can see, it's not 90%. This one now is 80%. This one should be 80% or 90%. Whichever way works. I think after you're done with all of these corrections, we are good to go. Okay? So congratulations for all who submitted their reviews. And once you make these corrections, submit it back to the group. and I'll be there to actually check on it. If you are watching this 1 week after this was published or 2 weeks or so, these corrections must have been made, and you should be able to see those corrections. Until we meet next time on our web design revisions, my name is Manuel from Kata Studios. Do have a wonderful day.